Hello guys, today I want us to answer this circle analytical geometry question. It is a very interesting question that I want you to see how I actually answer these questions. There's a lot of trick in here. I feel like it's important for you to see how I'll be answering this question. Again, if you want to have a one-on-one session with myself, you're going to WhatsApp me on these cell phone numbers. And then again, if you need help joining our exam focus program that is actually starting this Monday, that covers mathematics, physical sciences, life sciences, and geography, just check the link on my bio and also check the link that is actually attached to this video. Or maybe if you can't find the links because, you know, some TikTok, I don't know what's going on with them, you're just going to text me on this number. So again, to be able to make payments, you need to be 18 years and above. So you would have to lie sometimes and create another account and say you are 18 years and above to join, or maybe use your parents' phone. But this program, it is extremely important for you to join. We want to change your life. We want to make you pass with the results that you want. So let's actually answer this question. This is a very interesting question. Guys, every question that I decide to answer, there's a very logic reasoning about it. Now let's actually look at this. They say, oh, by the way, M is the center of the circle, right? So if M is the center of the circle, they say M is a point on the line y equals to x plus 1. So they are actually telling us that there's actually a line that is actually passing through the point M that is actually x plus 1, right? So now they say write B in terms of M. How do we actually do this? How do we write the B in terms B in terms of A? Number one, we say, okay, we are having a line y equals to x plus 1 that is actually passing through this point. I know that if I'm having B as my y point, I know that if my A actually equals to x, I know I'm going to add 1. So in this way, you have actually wrote B in terms of A. That's how you're supposed to do. You wrote B in terms of A using the equation y equals to x plus 1. Now let's look at the second question. They say, calculate the coordinates of M. So now they want us to calculate the coordinates of M. What do we know? If M is the center of the circle, we know that KM is a radius, and we know that MR is also a radius. So what are we going to know? We know that KM is actually going to equals to MR. Why? Because radians, let me just say this, because RD, we know that radius of a circle, it's actually equal to one another, right? Now let's actually look at this. We know that the equation of the circle, it is going to be, let me just say x minus x1 squared. Actually, let me just add it, plus what? Y minus y1 squared. This is actually going to equals to r squared. Now let's actually look at this for km, right? If you look at km, it means that r squared is going to be m squared, right? So let's look at x. Let's choose the x to be a, and then let's choose the x1 to be minus 5, and then we're going to square this, plus let's choose the y to be b, and then we're going to choose minus 7 squared. This actually equals to r squared. Remember, I've chose for km, so this is the same as km squared, right? Now let's actually choose for mr, right? So I'm going to have the same equation, x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals to r squared, right? So what am I going to have? I'm going to have a minus 6 squared, right, because of this 6, plus b minus 0 squared. This is going to be equals to r squared as well, but the r squared is going to be mr because, you know, it is actually the radius. So what do I notice? I notice that both these equations, they equals to r squared. The radius are actually equal. So I'm going to equate these two equations. So I'm going to have a minus 5 squared plus b minus 7 squared is going to equals to a minus 6 squared plus b, this just minus 0, just going to be b squared, right? But guys, What do we know about b? We know that b can also be written as a plus 1. So whenever there is b, I'm just going to write a plus 1. So I'm having a minus 5 squared plus, wherever there's b, I'm just going to write a plus 1. So I'm just going to write my a plus 1 where there's b, and then this minus 7, I'm going to square it, equals to a minus 6 squared plus, wherever there's b, I'm just going to write a plus 1. So this is going to be a plus 1 squared, right? So what am I going to have? I'm going to have a minus 5 squared plus, let's look at this. I'm going to have a plus 1 minus 7 is just going to be a minus 6 squared, right? It's going to equals to what? It is going to equals to a minus 6 squared plus a plus 1 squared. What do I see? I see a minus 6 squared and a minus 6 squared, right? So we know that these two are actually going to cancel out. So let's actually expand this. It is going to be a squared minus 10a plus 25. That's going to equals to, let's expand this. It's going to be a squared plus 2a plus 1. We realize that the a and the a, it is going to cancel out. If I take the 2a to the other side, I'm going to have minus 12a. That equals to 1. If I take the 25 to the other side, I'm going to have 1 minus 25. So I'm going to have minus 12a. That equals to minus 24. So I found that the value of a, it's going to be, I think it's 324 divided by 12. Oh, it's 2. It is going to be 2. So my value of a is going to be 2. Now, how do I find the value of b? Well, to find the value of b, it means wherever there's a, I'm now just going to substitute 2. So it's going to be b equals to what? 2 plus 1, and that is going to be 3. So I know that the value of a is 2 and the value of b is 3. Therefore, my coordinates is 2 and 3. So what do I do, guys? I do a very special magical thing we were talking about yesterday. I'm going to plot 2 and then I'm going to plot 3 right here so that I do not forget, right? Now let's look at the next question. Sorry. Now the next question says, if m is 2 and 3, calculate the length of the radius of the cycle. So now, because we know that the length is actually 2 and 3, they want us to calculate the radius of the cycle. So what do we do from this point? We're going to say, well, okay, we know that the equation of the cycle is going to be x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals to the radius squared. Let's choose any point. You can choose k, you can choose r, it's up to you. So let me just choose r because there is a 0, right? So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to have 6 minus 2, and then I'm going to square it. This is the 2 plus, I'm going to have y of 0 minus 3 squared, and then what is my r squared? So this is going to be 6 minus 2, that's going to be 4, and then 4 squared is 16. This is going to be plus 9, that actually equals to r squared. So what is 6 plus 9? What is 16 plus 9 is 25. The root of 25 is just going to be 5. So it means that my radius is actually 5. So what do? I come here and say, hey, I know that my radius is 5. All right. Now, let's look at the next question. The next question says, we need to calculate TR, right? We need to calculate TR. Which one is TR? Oh, I now see. This is TR, ladies and gentlemen. This is TR. I want us to construct something. If we take a line, right, and then we draw it to this point, let's call this point P, right? If we call this point P, I want us to think of theorem number 1. What does theorem number 1 say? Theorem number 1 says, if we have a line that is drawn from the center of the circle, because this is the center of the circle, and then that line is going to bisect the chord, it means that if we have a line drawn from center of the circle and then that line bisects the chord, it means that we're going to have a 90 degree on the intersection. Therefore, this line, let's just call this point, I don't know, man. Let's just call it dot. it means that from point dot to R actually equals from point dot to T. This one is from theorem number 1. I want you guys to see something. This is a pure gold question. If A is 2, it means that this distance from 0 to point, it is going to be 2, right? So if this x equals to 6, if R is equals to 6, it means that from 0 to R, we are having 6. So it means that this point, it has to be 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? This point has to be 4 because 2 plus 4 give us 6. So now we want to calculate the coordinates of what? We want to calculate the coordinates of T. So it means that even from point 0 to point T, we need to have 4. Can you see? From this point to R, it is actually equal to this point to T. So in order for us to get 4, it means that even from 0 to T, we have to have 2, because 2 plus 2 actually give us a total value of 4. And even so, 4 and 4 has to be equal. So it means that from point 0 to T, it tells us that the coordinates of T, it is actually what? -2 and 0. So that was the only way you were going to find the coordinates, of T. Now let's actually look at the last question. The last question says, find the equation of the tangent to the circle at K. Here's the circle at K. They want us to calculate the equation of the tangent. Now the time is actually running, so let me speed up as well. If we construct a line, this is what I love about analytical geometry. If you guys, if you enroll to this course, it's impossible you are going to fail. It's impossible. If you draw a line, what do we see now? We see the tan chord theorem, right? This is the radius perpendicular to tangent. So if we're having a radius that is perpendicular to tangent, it means that this point is actually a 90 degrees. Now we want to find the equation of the tangent, right? My phone is blaring. Okay, so it means we need to find it in terms of y equals to mx plus c. We do have a point, but we don't know the gradient. How do we find the gradient of this line? You don't necessarily have to look at the gradient of this line. You can find the gradient of km. So the gradient of km, it is going to be y2 minus yy divided by x2 minus x1, right? What is y2? It's going to be 7. What is b is going to be 3. What is that is going to be 5 minus 2. Quickly, the calculator, I'm going to have 7 minus 3 divided by 5 minus 2. It is going to be 4 divided by 3. Guys, there's actually a law that say if a line is perpendicular to another line, we know that the gradient of km multiplied by the gradient of the tangent, it is going to equals to -1. Because we're having a 90 degree here, if we multiply the gradient of km with the gradient of the tangent, it is going to give us -1. So since the gradient of km is 4 divided by 3, we want to find the gradient of the tangent. We know it's going to give us -1. Therefore, the gradient of the tangent is going to give us -3 divided by 4. So it means that y equals to mx plus c. What is the value of y? It's going to be 7. What is the value of the gradient? Is going to be -3 divided by 4. What is the gradient of x? Is going to be 5. We want to find the value of c. So I'm going to say, okay, -3 divided by 4 times 5. What am I going to get? I'm going to get 7 equals to -15 divided by 4 plus c. So I'm just going to take this into the other side. I'm going to have 7 plus 15 divided by 4. So my c is actually going to be 43 divided by 4. Therefore, the equation is going to be y equals to the gradient -3 divided by 4x plus the value of c is 43 divided by 4. So this is how you actually answer this wonderful question.